So Google's Nano Banana Pro has been out for a couple of weeks now, and the internet has been going, well, bananas over it. If you're looking to start a one-person business, I don't think there's any better AI tool out there right now than this one. However, a lot of people have really been struggling to get good results out of it because they don't know the best way to use it. Well, Google just released this entire report going over the best way to prompt Nano Banana Pro. And since learning all of these tips, the quality of my images has improved dramatically. For instance, here are two thumbnails I recently created. This first one I made with Nano Banana Pro using just my own prompt. Nothing special, just what I thought would work. And honestly, the results are kind of meh. I wouldn't actually use this thumbnail because it's kind of actually bad. But this second one right here, I created this one using the exact tips from this prompting guide. And honestly, this one is so much better. The composition is better, the text is more legible, the colors pop, everything just works better. And the only difference between these two thumbnails is that I followed the tips inside of this guide. Now, this guide is quite dense, but you don't need to read it because I'm going to break it all down for you. What we're going to do is first, I'm going to break down Google's general advice when it comes to prompting Google's Nano Banana Pro. That is the foundation that makes everything work better. And then after that, we're going to dive into like 5 or 6 specific examples of how you could potentially use this to start a business. And I've got timestamps down below so you can skip around to whichever section interests you the most. But with all of them, please remember that Nano Banana is just a tool. There's never any guarantee that any of these methods will actually make you money. So the first thing you need to know about Nano Banana Pro is that it is a thinking model. So in the past, when we were creating images, we would just throw a lot of keywords at the AI generator. You don't want to be doing that anymore. Instead, you want to use these golden rules. So I'm actually going to skip to the second one first. I think it's more important. And that rule is that you want to use natural language and full sentences. Basically, you want to talk to Nano Banana almost as if it was a real person. So instead of saying cool car, neon city, night, AK, you want to instead say a cinematic wide shot of a futuristic sports car speeding through a rainy Tokyo street at night. You see, natural language. That's going to get you much better results. Now, once it creates an image that you like or sort of like, if you need to make any changes to it, what you don't want to do is you don't want to start a new chat and use the same prompt and just tweak it. Instead, you just want to say, oh, this looks pretty good, but let's just change the lighting so it looks like it's at sunset instead. So there's no longer a need to start completely over again. The third rule is that you want to be as specific and descriptive as possible. So instead of just saying a woman, you want to say something like a sophisticated elderly woman wearing a vintage channel style suit. And if you want to get really specific, you can even describe the textures of the material that she's wearing. And finally, don't forget to provide context. Because Google's Nano Banana Pro is a thinking model, the more information you give it, the more it's actually going to be able to tailor the results to exactly what you're looking for. So if you're creating an advertisement, tell it you're creating an advertisement, and then it's going to know how to actually generate the image to make it look as much like an ad as possible. So for example, here I sent it that bad prompt, which is just a bunch of keywords. The image it produced is honestly okay, but it's not great, right? But over here, I gave it the more specific prompt that actually used the prompting guide from Google itself. And I specifically told it like, this is for an advertisement for the car. And these results are much better. It looks a lot cleaner. And we actually have text up here for the advertisement as well. So this, just with some simple changes to the prompt, made a much better result. And now that you understand what the golden rules are for prompting, let's dive into some specific business applications. Now, one thing I wanted to note is that I was just showing you how to use Nano Banana Pro inside of Gemini. However, for the rest of the video, I'm not going to use Gemini, and that's because I kept hitting usage caps, and this is happening to a lot of people, even if they're on a paid plan. So I actually canceled my paid plan, and this is what I use now to create all of my AI-generated images and videos. It's called Polo AI. They're not the sponsor of this video, but if you want to use them, I'll have a link for it in the description down below. And what I like about this is that you just buy the credits that you need, and then you get access to all these top models, including Nano Banana Pro. So this is what I'm going to use for the rest of the video so I don't run into those usage caps. All right, so the first example I want to show you is how to create viral thumbnails with Nano Banana Pro. And this really highlights how good Nano Banana Pro is at character consistency. So here inside of this prompting guide, we have an entire section devoted to character consistency and viral thumbnails. So I'm literally just going to copy down this prompt right here, and I'm going to bring it over into Polo AI, which is, again, using Nano Banana Pro. So what I did was I uploaded just one image of myself smiling, and I'm going to paste in this prompt. And I just change it to say that this is a thumbnail for a video about the latest iPhone. Now for the aspect ratio, I'll do 16:9. That's what you want for YouTube. You can change how many output images you have. However, I usually find that one is enough for Nano Banana Pro. You can also change the resolution. I'm just gonna leave it on 2K to save some credits and then click on create. So while that's generating, let's actually look at the prompt that was suggested by Google. So what they did here was they broke down each element of the thumbnail. The face consistency, we want the same face just with a different facial expression. The action, how the person is posed. The subject, what the subject is. In this case, in this example, it's this avocado toast. And the graphics, what text will be on the screen in front of it, and the background, what's going to be behind it. So here is the final result. And what really jumps out to me about this is that this actually looks like me. This was the only reference image that I gave it. And from this, it actually was able to consistently keep the same character, just change the facial expression. And this is huge because in the past, when I used to create thumbnails using AI, I always had the AI generator make it without my image in it because it was just so bad at putting my face in any sort of thumbnail that it created for me. But now it actually works. So all I need is this one image of myself. I never have to take another thumbnail photo ever again because I can just tell it exactly what I want and it's able to do it. Now, like I was saying before, if you want to change anything that was made, you don't want to start over and re-prompt it. Instead, you actually want to tell it what changes you want to make to this image. So inside of Polo AI, I can do that by clicking right here where it says image to image. And then right here, I can change the prompt. So I can say good, but, so I'm going to return back over here because this actually gives you a little bit of a guide on how to make changes. Again, it says, hey, if it's 80% correct, don't generate something from scratch. Instead say, that's great, but change the lighting to sunset and make the text neon blue or something like that. So I'll say, that's great, but make the person look sad and change all the text to the same orange. And then I'll click on create. And there we go, the exact same image, except now I'm sad and all the text is orange. So gone are the days when we completely start over from scratch just to make minute small changes. I used to have to make those small changes inside of Canva. I still think I'm gonna use Canva for some like really small editing, but less and less and less. So this is something you could offer as a service to other YouTubers, or of course you could start your own YouTube channel, but a lot of people offer this as services on websites like Fiverr, and you can charge money for each thumbnail. And all you need from your client is one single photo of them. Now, the second example here that I want to showcase for you also takes advantage of character consistency. However, it's not the consistency of a person so much as it is the consistency of a product. And this is perfect if you want to work with a business or an e-commerce brand that needs professional product shots. So right here, it details for you how you can actually do brand asset generation, which means that you just upload one image of a product or as many images of the product that you have, and you can create stunning, professional looking product images. So that's what we're gonna try. I uploaded this image of a dress and I told it to create 4 stunning fashion shots as if they are from an award-winning fashion editorial. So I'm just copying this from this guide, but I actually had to put it together, or I'm asking it to put it together into a collage. So all 4 images are within the same image, if that makes sense. So here is the result. Stunning, exactly what I asked for. 4-image collage showing the dress from different angles. And complete consistency. Even though this is an elaborate, strange looking dress, it was still able to make all 4 of the images look like they are the same dress. And now what I can do is I can click here where it says image to image, and I can say something like, put this dress on a woman, except I'm not just gonna say woman, because according to the prompting guide, you wanna be very specific about who is going to be in your images. So I would say to it, put this dress on a 27-year-old female model with dark hair. She's on the runway. And there we go, exactly what I asked for. And now you can just continue that cycle. Just click here again where it says image to image, or go ahead and start with this one and just ask for another image, maybe from a different angle on a different model. So you can really have an infinite number of images that you're able to make. You could offer this as a service to Shopify store owners, Amazon sellers, or use it for your own e-commerce business as well. All they have to do is get one good photo of the product and you can deliver back a complete set of professional shots that you or they can then use across websites, social media, and advertisements. Now, before we move on to the next examples, if you're enjoying this video so far and you appreciate that I did all this research for you and found this guide and how to use it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future tips just like the ones in this video. All right, so one of the features that was showcased inside this prompting guide that I was super excited to try out was this thing called grounding with Google search. And basically, this is a way for you to create different images or infographics without actually having to do any research yourself. So in the past, if you wanted to make an infographic that looked like this, you actually had to put all the information inside of a PDF and upload it into Gemini or whatever image generator you were using. And then it would then turn that into an infographic. Now you don't have to do that. Now, Nano Banana Pro can actually do the research for you. So I'm gonna come actually to text to image here, and I'm just gonna tell it I want it to create an infographic of the best times to visit, and we're gonna change this to all the Disney parks in 2026 based on current travel trends. I'll change this to 16:9 so it's a little bit wider, and let's see if it's able to do this. So here are the initial results, and I'll say I'm not super impressed with these, to be honest. Just want to be completely honest with you guys, show you the good and the bad. You notice up here that there are quite a few sort of font issues. Nano Banana Pro, one thing that really stands out about it, and one of the things that is really making people go bananas over it, is that it's really good at putting text on images. And I have found that to be true as well, but right here you can see it kind of failed me. There's a lot up here that's a bit garbled up, but there's a lot that's also right. So this is an okay guide. I'm not like super in love with it, but I guess it does work. So let me try to reprompt it with something else. And here we go. This is the second iteration. I basically gave it the exact same prompt, but I said turn it into a map and only tell me the best times, not the worst times, so that it was less information. It was trying to sort of like jam in here. And I think the results are much better. I don't see any typos in here, but you guys can fact check that and let me know in the comment section down below. But this is a lot more impressive. And really what this is highlighting is the fact that this went out and did the research and brought it in to make this infographic, which is super cool to see. And I think you can just begin to understand the real world application of something like this, right? No longer is it the case that you have to go out and actually do the research to generate reports. It can do the research and generate the graphics, the infographics as well. That is pretty amazing. Now, this next example opens up a whole world of possibilities. It's called advanced editing. This is basically photoshopping. Any sort of editing you do to a photo, Google's Nano Banana Pro is incredible at it. So let me go ahead and use this example that they have. So I have this image of a couple. They're in this really crowded tourist location. There's a lot of people around and someone actually blocking her from the actual image as well. So you can't even see all of her here. And let's go ahead and see if using the same prompt that they supply in this prompting guide, if we're actually able to remove all the people from this image, including hopefully the person in front. And holy, wow. I mean, look at that. Totally cleaned it up. It looks completely natural and you could actually see the woman as well. If I didn't know better, I would say that this is the way the image was originally taken. That is actually extraordinary. Now, a few more quick examples from this guide. So first of all, if let's say you're an architect, let's say you're a real estate agent, you have a photo of a house, and the client wants to know what it's going to look like in the winter. Well, take that image, upload it to Google's Nano Banana Pro, tell it you want to see it in the winter, there it is. You can even upload the plans, have it actually do a mock-up of what it's going to look like. You can even put the client's car in the driveway if they wanted to see that. Coming down here, this is another one that's great for advertisements. You can do these deconstructed product images. So this one is a burger with each different ingredient laid out like this, totally deconstructed. Something like this would make a great advertisement. And this last one I was super excited for. You can see it right here. They promised that if you upload a sketch like this and the product image, then it would make these really cool looking graphics that follow the exact sketch. And this is another one, well, I'll just be honest, I couldn't get it to work. I reprompted this like 3 or 4 times, and each time it just didn't do what it was supposed to do, unfortunately. So that'd be really cool if it did work. Following this prompt exactly didn't work for me. But hey, a lot of the other examples in here worked flawlessly, and I am super impressed with Nano Banana Pro. So there you have it, Google's complete guide to using Nano Banana Pro for professional work, and specific examples of how you could potentially use this to start or grow your one-person business. The key thing is to remember those golden rules we talked about in the beginning. Edit, don't re-roll, use natural language, be specific about your descriptions, and provide context. Those 4 principles will make everything you do in Nano Banana Pro significantly better. Now, if you want to see more AI tools that you could potentially use to start an online business, you need to check out this video right here. Inside of this, I go over some of the most powerful AI tools I have ever found. So click right here, watch that, and I'll see you there in just 1 second. Bye for now.